Greetings! It's great to be back with you all for another armchair travel adventure around the world. China is a vast country with a rich history, culture, and society. As such, not everyone is aware of the many interesting facts about this fascinating nation. So, welcome to Interesting Facts About China. The world's population powerhouse. China currently has a population of approximately 1,425,321,487 people, and this number will surely be outdated as soon as I finish this sentence. In fact, a new Chinese baby is born every 3 to 5 seconds. That's why I said in the previous video, if the entire population of China stood in a single line and walked past you, the line would never end. And even if the Chinese stopped having children altogether, it would still take you between 134 and 224 years just to watch the world's largest population walk by. With its current population, China accounts for 18.54% of the world's total mouths to feed. And at its peak in 1975, that number was 22.58%, which means that if you randomly pick 5 people in the world, your chances of picking a Chinese person are 1 in 5. Despite its large population, China is not as crowded as you might think. It ranks 80th in the list of countries by population density with only 144 people per square kilometer, thanks to its third largest land area in the world at 9,572,900 square kilometers. To put things into perspective, the most populous cities in this country are Chongqing, Shanghai, and Beijing with populations of 30.1, 24.1, and 21.7 million people respectively, and they have relatively comfortable population densities of 370, 3,800, and 1,300 people per square kilometer respectively. Note that these figures are from Wikipedia. To make it easier for you to visualize, the most obvious disadvantage of a country with a large population is that it drags down China's GDP per capita significantly. Specifically, China's GDP in 2017 was the second highest in the world, after the US, at $12,014 billion. However, its GDP per capita was only $8,600 USD person per year, ranking 71st in the world. The Great Firewall of China. In 1993, when the internet was just emerging in China, the country planned a program called the Golden Shield Project. Essentially, it's a massive content monitoring and censorship system known worldwide as the Great Firewall of China. The Golden Shield Project operates by blocking the simplest way for foreign websites that can provide, host, and disseminate harmful or anti-Chinese government information. As of May 2018, more than 8,000 websites were completely blocked by the Chinese government, including link to Google.com and all Google services, social media platforms like Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram, and YouTube, non-profit information websites like Wikipedia and WikiLeaks, and major news outlets like BBC News, Hong Kong News, The New York Times, and The Wall Street Journal. The restriction is bypassed by changing IP addresses continuously or using a third-party app called VPN, Virtual Private Network. However, under pressure from the Chinese government, many VPN service providers had to shut down. Apple also removed numerous VPN access apps not permitted by China from its market. For domestic websites, the government simply manages all the content posted online. Anyone managing dissenting websites can be arrested, and fines are imposed on anyone daring to speak against the authorities. Moreover, the Chinese government has a 24/7 team of internet police ready to shift any political narrative in favor of the government. It's no wonder that Reporters Without Borders considers China the world's largest prison for internet users. However, this doesn't mean that China's internet space is intimidating and dull, as long as you avoid becoming a reformist or a politician. In fact, China's online community had a whopping 746,662,194 users as of 2016, accounting for 53.20% of the world's internet users. Without Facebook, they have Weibo. Without WhatsApp, they have WeChat. Without YouTube, they have Youku. Not only that, the Chinese have a tourist version of Google called Baidu, offering various utilities like Baidu Search, Baidu Translate, Baidu Mail. Basically, they lack nothing. Blocking nearly all services from abroad has made domestic businesses extremely enthusiastic, allowing them to share a $73 billion market slice in 2018 alone. One-child policy. The one-child policy was a population control policy implemented by the Chinese government from 1979 until it was fully replaced by the two-child policy in late 2015 and early 2016. The initial goal was to reduce the demand for natural resources, maintain a stable labor ratio, reduce unemployment, and reduce surplus labor. Couples who had a second child illegally were required to pay fines, euphemistically called social contribution fees, to cover the social costs caused by their second child. In 2010 alone, the total social contribution fees collected amounted to 20 billion yuan, equivalent to approximately over 2,800 million United States dollars. Director Zhang Yimou, the father of films such as Hero, 2002, House of Flying Daggers, 2004, and The Great Wall, 2017, had to pay a social contribution fee of 7.5 million yuan, which is equivalent to over 1 million United States dollars at the present time. It is worth mentioning that children whose parents do not pay this fee will not be issued a birth certificate, will not have their names included in the household register, will not be issued an identity card, will not be able to participate in the insurance system, and will not be able to go to school. They are called black children. A 2011 statistic showed that China had 13 million children who were not recognized by society because of this policy. After more than 35 years of implementation, China's birth control policy has shown its effectiveness, as evidenced by the fact that the country's population growth rate has slowed down significantly from 2.23% in 1975 to 0.39% in 2018. In contrast, the corresponding figures for India are 2.34% and 1.11%. The United Nations also predicts that India's population will surpass China's in 2024. Besides the positive results, China's one-child policy also had serious consequences. Specifically, during the period when the policy was implemented, China recorded over 8 million abortions and about 10,000 cases of abandoned infants each year, the majority of whom were girls. In 2008 alone, the country recorded 13 million abortions and about 10 million abortion pills were sold. This tradition of preferring boys over girls has also contributed to the country's gender ratio reaching 118.9, 100 in 2005. This means that there are 20% more boys than girls, and that countless young Chinese men will have to remain single in the next 10 years. In fact, an economics professor from Zhejiang University named Xie Zushi once proposed a solution to the problem of the future lack of wives for young Chinese men, which was for poor rural men to share wives with each other. However, this proposal was met with strong criticism from the Chinese online community. Special Army. More than 30,000 years ago, prehistoric communities created cave paintings as an advanced form of communication. 25,000 years later, the ancient Egyptians and Chinese incorporated symbolic drawings into their daily lives, thus creating their two hieroglyphic scripts. In 776 BC, the ancient Greeks were the first in history to use homing pigeons as a fast and convenient method of communication. In April 1876, the first telephone was invented. It is considered one of the greatest inventions of all time. The 1990s marked the birth of the internet, ushering in an era known as the flat world of news traveling at the speed of light and cross-border communication. And yet, in 2018, when more than 4 billion people worldwide have access to the internet, China still has an army of over 10,000 homing pigeons tasked with delivering messages in case the country's military communication network fails due to hackers or enemy cyber attacks. The Kingdom of Socks. The town of Dating in Zhuji, Zhejiang, China is known as the Sock City. In the 1980s, this town had a population of only about 1,000 people. However, since it was designated as an industrial development zone, the population has exploded with at least 100,000 people involved in the textile industry and an estimated sock production of 8 billion pairs per year, accounting for 1/3 of the world's sock production. Enough to give every person in the world a pair and a few hundred million others 2 pairs each. Prehistoric people. Many estimates suggest that between 30 and 35 million Chinese people still live in caves like prehistoric people. Indeed, in Shaanxi province, tens of millions of people have moved into caves. Others have been here for generations. There are many reasons for this. First, not everyone can afford to build a solid house or buy an apartment. Second, the caves are said to be cool in summer and warm in winter, and are an ideal place to live. And finally, while not all cave houses are the same, there is no denying that many have quite acceptable designs. High ceilings, plenty of light, and full electricity and water. The country of pandas. It is relatively accurate that there are currently between 1,800 and 2,000 pandas remaining in the wild in China and about 300 in captivity in research facilities and zoos around the world. And they all belong to China. Since the 1950s, China has begun to give, gift and donate pandas to other countries for political purposes. However, since 1984, they have stopped the giving program and switched to loaning pandas with a loan fee of up to $1 billion per year and a loan contract of about 10 years, which can be renewed. In addition, all cubs born abroad must be returned to China within the first few years of life. And perhaps all the pandas given or donated by China before 1984 have died, as the average lifespan of pandas in the wild is only 20 years and can reach a maximum of 35 years in captivity. Therefore, perhaps all the pandas in the world are owned by China. The vast country of China still has many interesting facts for us to discover. However, this video is already long, so I will stop the video, Interesting Facts About China, Part 1 here. Please watch Part 2 in next week's video. Remember to subscribe and click the bell to receive the latest videos. Finally, if you find this video useful, don't forget to like and share it with everyone. Goodbye and see you again.